My safe word is second language.
Gorgeous.
Two-spirit individuals and BIPOC, non-binary, and trans people are not breaking gender roles or gender norms. We are merely practicing our ancestral memory and our ancient cultural understandings.
So many identities they're manipulating. Whitewash history, culturally appropriated.
That's so cool. I love that.
Why we march.
We are trans,
Bisexual,
lesbian,
gay,
intersex,
asexual,
two-spirit,
non-binary,
gender non-conforming,
and allies.
We march against the exploitation of our communities for profit.
We march because the New York City Pride Parade has become mere pinkwashing.
We march against police, state, and societal oppression.
in the queer tradition epitomized by the 1969 Stonewall Rebellion.
We march against transphobia, homophobia, biphobia, racism, sexism, and xenophobia.
We march against bigotry based on religious affiliation,
Classism,
Ableism,
Ageism,
All other forms of oppression.
and the violence that accompanies them.
We march for an end to government policies that deny us our rights and our very lives.
from NYPD to ICE.
From the prison industrial complex to state repression worldwide.
We march against poverty and economic inequality.
We march to affirm that healthcare is a right,
including treatment for all people with HIV/AIDS worldwide.
Marchamos para celebrar nuestras comunidades e historias, en solidaridad con otros grupos oprimidos.
We march to demand social and economic justice worldwide.
We march for liberation.
Right, it's Pride Month, babes. What are we gonna do when we see protesters at festivals and parades and events? That's right, we are not engaging. We are staying in groups, we are looking out for and keeping each other safe. We are not giving violence a way in. You personally might feel unthreatened. Danger might feel less immediate because you're an ally, or you're cisgender, or you're white. Maybe you're there with a big group. But you are not an island, my friend. Being intentionally confrontational gasses them up. That makes all of us less safe. Use that energy to stay sharp and be ready to protect each other. And happy Pride. Mwah.
This outfit looks non-binary, and this one, and the next two, because non-binary people don't owe you androgyny.
I'm not being a missionary trying to save America, but I do know that we have paid too much for it to be able to abandon it.
I am immunocompromised. I have long COVID. I'm a long-term survivor of HIV, and I am disabled. I'm also a founding member of the Reclaim Pride Coalition. COVID, like police violence, disproportionately harms the most marginalized people in our community, especially those who are disabled. COVID can be transmitted outdoors. So please, wear a mask at the Queer Liberation March. This will help to protect yourselves and our community. Thank you.
We'll teach 100 years of colonizers that a language is the most dangerous weapon you can give to a bloodline of storytellers, culture keepers, with a responsibility to speak no matter their split tongue. So spit me a poem about the ways you learn to mourn and love, and I will call your mouth home.
Hey, it's me back with another bad outfit and hot take, reminding you that being queer is inherently political and sometimes provocative. As a queer person, sometimes your existence is going to provoke homophobia and transphobia. But queer people are not to blame for shining a light on that discrimination which already exists. You wouldn't blame bad interior design on the lamp that allows you to see it. And you wouldn't blame Apple for giving you the ability to find one of my terrible outfits on TikTok. This pride, be provocative and not palatable. Bye, gay.
Where do non-binary people come from? Dunno. It all starts in Mesopotamia. When was that? 2000 BC. 2000 BC? This civilization was the earliest records of humanity. There are references to types of people who are neither male or female, and the records describe how God created these people. Next, this was around 400 BC. There are the earliest records of the Hijra people. The Hijra can consider themselves to be neither male or female.
As a whole entire civilization?
Yeah, and they still exist, the Hijra people, although oppressed they are. Next, we have 7th century BC. These are my favourites. The Scythians, who were Eurasian nomadic horse riders, who apparently
You're making this up.
who apparently honoured gender non-conforming people as priests and warriors. They apparently also invented the earliest known hormone therapy using licorice root. Pre-colonial Native Americans, let's spin that bloody globe again, shall we? Who historically recognised various kinds of genders that all fall under the umbrella of Two-Spirit, which just encompasses the different kinds of genders that they had in the communities that don't fit in the Western gender binary. Now, the year 100, there are records stating that classical Judaism actually recognised 6 genders. I can't tell you more information about that because I don't know it. Anglo-Saxon, when did they start recognising non-binary people? The roots of you and I. Because in the 11th century, there was a word found called weapon withestra, which meant woman with a weapon, which also people believed to be woman with a penis, and may have been a word used to describe queer, intersex, non-binary.
But queer folks, we very rarely have modes. We never have instruction manuals. We don't have the talk, from our parents about the birds and the bees. And so a lot of our way towards desire is also a way towards self-knowledge, both on a psychological level, but on an anatomical level. We learn on the fly. And I wanted to have and honor that tradition of learning through failure. Because I think in this country, we shame failure. When people fail, we cast them aside. But for queer folks, failure becomes a necessary praxis towards success.
Did you know that the first drag queen was actually an African-American man born into slavery in the 1800s? No. His name was William Dorsey Swan, and he's widely regarded as the first known LGBTQ+ activist in the United States. What? William was born into slavery in Maryland in 1858, before later moving to Washington, D.C. He organised and participated in drag balls, which were gatherings of LGBTQ+ people, particularly those who identified as transgender, where they could actually dress in the clothing of their preferred gender without fear of persecution.
And it was safe to do so?
Well, no, it wasn't safe to do so, Emma. In 1887, William and his friends formed what was called the Clubhouse, which was likely the first LGBTQ+ organisation in the United States. The Clubhouse provided a safe space for queer people to gather and socialise, and it also served as a platform for Swan to speak out about the social injustices that the community faced.
How have I never heard his name before?
Well, you probably won't have heard of him because these events were often held in secret to avoid targeting from the public and the police. William was arrested several times. However, Emma, he refused to be silenced, and even used his arrests and his day in court as an opportunity to speak out against the injustices faced by his community.
Incredible. Brave, brave man.
Now, there are no specific details about how he escaped slavery. He may have been freed due to emancipation, or he may have escaped by running away. But regardless of how it happened, his experience as an enslaved person most likely shaped his perspective on social injustice and forced him to pursue a life of activism for the marginalised.
I am not okay right now. My chosen family is not okay right now. Our home is not okay right now. I live in Florida. My name is Zoa Glows. I use they, them, she, her pronouns. I'm trans and non-binary. And there are laws being passed that are stopping people that I love from getting the care they need, the gender-affirming care they need. that they've been getting this whole time and suddenly they don't have access anymore because of what's going on in Florida. It's not okay, and it's happening right now. People are having to move right now. People are scared, and the people who are deciding this have nothing to do and know nothing about the people that it's affecting. If you are in a different state, please share this, get this message out. I don't know what to do. I don't know what we can do, but something needs to happen because it's not okay. Like, if you're in a different state, help! We need help. Something, because I don't know what the heck is happening here in Florida. It's ridiculous. Y'all think I'm exaggerating. The HRT, the gender affirming care, the medicine that people had access to is getting stripped away, and they're not going to be able to get it anymore. And the companies that were providing it for them are going to get in trouble for giving it to them. It's ridiculous. People are not going to be able to be themselves. Things are going to be changing that aren't supposed to be changing in people's bodies, and that is not okay. I'm pissed. I'm done. Share this.
This year, we have witnessed a swelling of state-sanctioned violence against the trans community. And now more than ever, it is imperative that we support, uplift, and celebrate trans women, trans men, and the broader trans community. On this Trans Day of Visibility, ask yourself, what are you doing to support and celebrate the trans people in your life and the broader trans community?
My own thing for sex is sort of like, okay.
Is that someone's live on? Oh, this one.
I think, yeah, our job is going to be pretty easy because we're just going to be focused on one thing the whole.
taking yours. I'm hearing somebody. Okay, you're not muted. Okay. Actually, I did the same, I guess. Yeah.
You can say hi. No, we're live streaming.
We're live streaming for the bar. Guest engagement. What? I love that.
Posters, Liberation March. Get your free posters for the Queer Liberation March. We have like
I love their outfits up there. The white hair, the nice necklaces. See that? That is so beautiful.
free posters. Get your free posters for the Queer Liberation March. Yeah.
So cute.
Well, it's been a long time now since I've seen you smile, and I'll gamble away my friend, and I'll gamble away my time, and in a
I've had like situations where like I'm walking home late at night and I'm wearing like a skirt or I'm wearing like a dress or something, and I see like two dudes walking my way. They're like at the end of the block and I can hear them already like, she's cute, and I'm like, oh, shit, they're talking about me. I'm like, oh, like they're across the street, da-da-da. When I come across people like that, it worries me for my own safety, really. That toxic masculinity BS is exactly that, it's BS. I'm gonna wear a skirt because I want to wear a skirt, and because some of my people were doing exactly this, and then that will help others hopefully be more comfortable with what they want to do as well.
I went to jail, I would say 15 times in my lifetime for being in a gay bar. You didn't pay the cops, they raid the bar. This is Tree, aka Granny. Next month I will be 84 years old. I tell everybody I intend to be here when I'm 100. That's only a couple of years away. And my doctor even says, with your attitude, you may make it. I go out with the kids in their 50s and 30s, and at 2 o'clock in the morning I look around, they're all home in bed, and I'm still at the bars partying. 1969, I was here for the rebellion. I was inside here dancing with my friends. It was a dump. They painted the floor, the walls, the ceiling black, and we just danced to a jukebox. We didn't have DJs yet, and we were in here when it was raided, and we figured it was another raid. But we did not know it was the raid of all raids. I've been asked millions of times, were you afraid? I said no. I was a goody two-shoes all my life, and there I was throwing rocks, breaking windows, setting police cars on fire. I was having the time of my life. Everybody knew there was a gay bar here, and nobody bothered anybody, you know. And in 1969, the people that had stores on this block and houses let the people in their hallway and would not let the cops arrest them because they protected the gay people. And now in 2023, people are still bugging gay people. There are now more anti-gay laws on the books than there was in the old days. Politics, we're going backwards. We're going back to 1969, and, you know, we have to fight back.
This is normal. We have this like in our closet. It took 12 people to assemble, but
Not heard of the Dyke March?
No, you'd think I would, because that's like something I'm into.
You would, wouldn't you? So the Dyke March takes place in New York City, and it's a radical gathering of thousands of fabulous lesbians and queer women. In 1993, in Washington, D.C., 1 million queer people joined a march on Washington for lesbian, gay, and bisexual rights and liberation. This was one of the largest protests in American history. However, the night before, a group calling themselves the Lesbian Avengers had an additional plan. The New York Lesbian Avengers organised the logistics of the march and created a manifesto addressing the necessity of grassroots lesbian organising, which I have here. Calling all lesbians, wake up! It's time to get out of the beds, out of the bars and into the streets. It's time to seize the power of dyke love, dyke vision, dyke anger, dyke intelligence, dyke strategy. It's time to organise and incite. It's time to get together and fight. We're invisible, sisters, and it's not safe. Not in our homes, not in our streets, not on our jobs, not in our courts. Where are the lesbian leaders? It's time for a fierce lesbian movement, and that's you. The role model, the vision, the desire. We need you, because we're not waiting for the rapture, we are the apocalypse.
That is incredible. I feel like they were speaking to me there.
It's great, isn't it?
You want to message them.
You know, the work I'm doing now, I couldn't have done 10 years ago, you know, before the healing process. And that healing process has been through the arts. It's been through absorbing art that centers us. And when I say us, you know, obviously we're specifically talking here about Black folks and bi+ folks, but marginalized folks in general, right? So, you know, it's been consuming art. It's been drowning in art, you know, and art is a broad term, right? So it's movies, it's TV, it's music, it's paintings, it's drawing, it's sketching, it's video games, it's all of these aspects of creativity. And that's a powerful role. And it's a huge responsibility to be a healer in general, right? Whether it's through art or otherwise. And I think that it's really important that we recognize that, right? And that's not even, you know, that's not even the only purpose of art in movement building, but it's one of sort of the major ones, you know, and so it's important that we recognize that and recognize its role in movement building. And it's important that there's a mechanism, really multiple mechanisms, for supporting artists, just as much as there are supports for mutual funds, for mutual aid funds, you know, and support for bail funds, among other things, because all of these aspects of movement building are what move us forward.
I have a palm and I have an umbrella.
Alright, so that's a good feeling.
We'll be okay.
I think our phones are like good for I don't know how many meters. Oh my god. Your watch. Oh my god, yeah, I see that.
Not just that the binary reduces the complexity of the world, but that it forces us into oppositional thinking. We're taught that there is one side and another side, but I think non-binary thinking allows us to hold harmony where other people see dissonance, to be able to say we can be the both and. We can experience incredible grief and sorrow and joy inside of that. We can feel so certain about something and still incorporate doubt. And that's, I think, what we need now in this world more than ever, is to reject parsing the world into dichotomies, like here or there, or like us or them. They hold us back from a more intimate and honest encounter with how the world is already both and.
Why do I march in the Queer Liberation March? I march to honour the thousands, the millions who've marched in years past in gay liberation marches, gay pride marches, and to honour them and the work that they laid to enable us to still be able to walk today. I walk for the millions around the world and here in the United States who are still unable to march, be it because their country bans the marches, or for instance in the US where people are still afraid of the recriminations from their communities should they come out. And I guess hopefully as an inspiration for the thousands that will march after me, and of course, because it's great fun, I get to see my friends and have everyone see us. Queer visibility, queer power.
On this pan. But whatever.
Yesterday I posted a video about my time in Florida and how I held my bladder for like 8 hours because I was stressed out using the public restrooms there given everything that was going on. And I juxtaposed it with this captured moment of queer joy and friendship. For whatever reason, that video has landed in the part of the internet where I've been receiving non-stop hate comments for the last like day and a half. And I'm okay. These comments are annoying at best and they're transphobic, they're homophobic, they're ignorant. And I thought about taking the video down just because it was a lot to manage and not because my feelings were hurt, thankfully. But I thought to myself, I've worked so hard to be able to access joy in an unsafe world. I do not want to compromise that. I do not want to stand down. So I've been just deleting comments and blocking people left and right because I want queer joy to exist out there in the world for other people to find. I will not be suppressed. I will not be backed down. So here I am. And it's funny because it started with someone basically telling me that I was overreacting with everything going on, and what has unfolded is exactly what I've been trying to say. The world is not safe. It's not safe for LGBTQ people, and also that we are targeted and then dismissed. So we are overreacting. So now what? I'm going to keep existing and keep.
Marshals a lot are very good about like bringing people in like carefully, knowing that they are kind of like not really sure what's going on. Yeah, most of what you do is basically just kind of like stepping in front.
Come and take my hand. For every little lie you tell so you can hide will grow inside your chest. Your heart will need to rest. So come into my arms.
Ooh. What is that going to be? Oh, cool. I love you can just kind of like make anything if you know how to knit. It's really cool.
It's actually pretty simple, especially like something like this that's all square.
Individualism is an enemy to anti-racism. Let's get into it. It's frustrating to speak out about racist behaviors that I experience and about racist systems, and then I have white people in my comments talking about, I don't claim them, that's not me, some of us are different, which are all variations of not all white people, which is never helpful. These are all individualistic mindsets that empower systemic racism. Whether you are actively and intentionally pushing systemic racism forward or not, if you're white, you're automatically benefiting from these systems. All of you. It's like you're standing still, but you're on an escalator. When we as Black, Indigenous, and other people of color are telling our stories or teaching about racism, white folks, you must resist the temptation to disassociate yourself from whiteness and the harm that it causes. So when you respond in ways seeking to separate yourself from these systems of racism and white supremacy, you are prioritizing your own feelings and reputation, first of all, and you are also shedding responsibility for dismantling these harmful systems. I promise you that your effectiveness as an anti-racist will be compromised if you see this as an external problem that's perpetrated by those bad white folks over there. You must understand that although you might not have built this house of racism, you still live in it, you still get the benefits from it, and you must take ownership and responsibility for it.
That's so cool.
Hi, my name is Nicole. I'm an educator, I'm disabled, and I have long COVID. It's important to wear a mask to the Queer Liberation March because although the government has declared the COVID-19 emergency over, COVID-19 continues to cause disproportionate harm, including disability and death, to low-income, elderly, disabled, and immunocompromised people, and in Indigenous, Black, and Latinx communities. We all have to work together to keep our communities safe, and the best way to do that is to use multiple layers of protection. According to the People's CDC, very quickly, that is to surveillance test, to vaccinate and boost yourselves, to ventilate the air, to watch out for symptoms and exposure, to wear masks, universal masking, to be outdoors as much as possible, to monitor the CO2 levels in indoor spaces, to social distance, to filter the air, to be in small groups, and to get government funding and make policies. Now, today I just want to focus on masking. So the current strain of COVID-19 in New York City, according to the NYC.gov website, is an Omicron variant called XBB 1.5. It is to date the most infectious strain. To bring back a slogan from earlier in the pandemic, my mask protects you and your mask protects me. So please wear a well-fitting, high-quality mask, and in particular, a KN95 or better if you can. I'd also urge you to do a rapid test before attending and to stay home if you feel ill. Your fellow community members' health may depend on it. Remember also that anyone can get long COVID even after a mild infection. I unfortunately am proof of that. And each infection raises your chance of getting long COVID as well as other health problems. So I hope everyone can stay safe and have a wonderful Queer Liberation March. So in solidarity, we'll see you on Sunday.
If you're between the ages of 13 and 21 and you can't find the material that you want to read on the shelves of your school or your public library, send us an email and we will send you a digital card which will give you access to our digital collection.
In just over a year since it launched Books Unbanned, the library has issued more than 6,200 free digital library cards and circulated over 100,000 books and other items.
Hi everyone, this is Chess from Ash and Chess. As many of you know, we designed a fair amount of Target's Pride collection, and they removed 14 of our 16 designs to online only. However, they also took our Trans People Will Always Exist design and removed it from all of the channels, which is effectively erasing that sentiment. We were hesitant to do a large partnership like this, but we ultimately moved forward with it because I could really just envision what life would have been like for me growing up as a trans child in the 90s and being able to see this representation around me. We know visibility doesn't save us, and in fact it makes us more vulnerable a lot of the time, but it really can save individuals. The fact that Target put this item out in the store for a few weeks but then removed it only makes it more painful. The message that sends to our community is that yes, you exist, but you shouldn't. We don't deserve that. Trans people deserve more than existence. We deserve to be loved and celebrated for who we are. So the little bit of good news is that we got the rights back to this design, and we're going to be selling it through Bonfire, which is a fundraising campaign platform.
About a year ago, the Supreme Court of the United States ended the federal constitutional right to an abortion. This decision has had widespread consequences. Throughout the U.S. empire, bans have eliminated all or some abortions in 20 states. This has left patients confused, desperate, and fearful of their reproductive health, questioning what is legal in their state. Despite the effort of Planned Parenthood, independent providers, and healthcare staff, people seeking abortion are forced to travel hundreds of miles, risking their own health and safety. This anniversary is an opportunity to educate ourselves and our communities on the impact of this decision. Also, an opportunity to work together to move us towards a future where abortion rights are available to all. To learn more and to take action, visit this link in my bio. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have a beautiful day.
Is it all right? Would you be able to sit like on the side of it? Yeah. Thank you.
Pride is the time to celebrate the trailblazers who have fought for LGBTQ+ rights. Here are 5 extraordinary individuals who deserve to have their stories heard. Mark Ashton co-founded Lesbians and Gays Support the Miners during the 1984 miners' strike, advocating for solidarity and equality. His activism continues to inspire the fight for LGBTQ+ rights today. Bayard Rustin was a driving force behind the historic March on Washington in 1963. Despite being pushed to the shadows due to his sexual orientation, his commitment to justice inspired generations. Maureen Calhoun became Britain's first openly LGBTQ+ MP after being outed in 1976. She fought for women's rights, challenging discrimination and misogyny. Sylvia Rivera dedicated her life to advocating for those who were most marginalized within the LGBTQ+ community. Her efforts extended far beyond pride parades as she fought for the rights of homeless queer youth and trans people. Ted Brown helped to bring together over 2,000 LGBTQ+ people and allies for the UK's first ever Pride in 1972. The Gay Liberation Front sparked pride movements across the UK. Who's an LGBTQ+ icon you think the world should know about?
We actually do have a speaker system. I'm Jay Walker. I use he, him pronouns. We do have a speaker system. My colleagues are trying to get it to work. But we're running a little late. So we're going to go ahead and get started with our rally. And the first step in that process is to invite our wonderful organizer, Janice Spirit, up to give the land acknowledgement. Janice Stacy will give the land acknowledgement. Hold on. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Janice Stacy. My pronouns are she, her. Can you hear me back there? All right, so I'm here to give a land acknowledgement. I'm here to give a land acknowledgement to the right now we're sitting on Lenape land. This is where the Lenape people have lived. I want you to understand that they were removed from this land. I want you to take a moment. This is going to be a little I want you to take a moment, close your eyes, and imagine this place being all woods, families and children living here, playing on the streets. And then they were moved. They were moved out here, or they were killed. Right? I want you to imagine that. They were moved out here by people who hated people based on their race and based on their sexuality. Because they wanted the land. They literally just wanted to steal the land. So this is unceded Lenape territory land. I want you to understand that that kind of thing is happening to those same kinds of people today. Right? Across the United States of America, Turtle Island, West Natives, people are being attacked for their color, their skin, their race, and their sexuality and their gender identity. We're here today to try to march to stop that. Right? I'm proud that you're all here, but I want you to understand we're trying to change the world from here. We're trying to fight and keep it from being like we're not moved off this land. Lenape lived here with their families. They lived here in peace. They even lived here in peace with their two-spirit people that lived here. They were not treated badly. We need to be able to bring that kind of spirit back to the entire Turtle Island. But I want you to move forward with this with a good heart. I don't want you to go at people with hate, right? I want you to go forward with a good heart and try to do well by your people, do well by the land, and don't give too much time to people who have no sense. We gotta take up stand and keep this from happening. Thank you. have a fantastic queer liberation march every single year. I'm looking out at these folks here, and you look fantastic. You are beautiful. We are living in an awful age politically. We are living in an age when we are once again being scapegoated by politicians who have nothing to offer their constituents. And so the only thing that they can do is to gin up hatred of other in order to get people to support them. And that's why I'm so glad that we have this amazing lineup of speakers today who will speak to many of the issues in which our most marginalized communities are being marginalized ever further by politicians looking to increase their power, increase their wealth, increase their influence. But the reason that we are here today in New York City, the motherfucking capital of the world, is to tell them that we will not allow it. We shall not be erased. I would like to invite someone who I have been so honored to work with and who I'm looking forward to working with a lot more on a special project that will be shared in their speech. Share Avery!
New pride! New pride!
Yes, out with the old and in with the new, y'all. We're still fucking I don't know. We can't keep talking about a new day being around the corner. We need a new day here and now. New pride! New pride! Wow. Y'all, today is actually my last day at New Pride Agenda. Today's my last day at New Pride Agenda as our lead statewide community organizer. And I'm proud of all of our wins and our accomplishments. And I hope y'all are proud too, because we fucking did that! I really tried to actualize a vision of our collective voices being heard, bringing forth all that I wished I had as a young organizer, as a young person experiencing homelessness, as a young person experiencing the pipelines to incarceration, as a young person hoping for leadership development, mentorship, community, and family. I hope I did that in my role here at New Pride Agenda. And I know that we did because we built a statewide coalition on the ashes of the arson fire the Empire State Pride Agenda lit and let burn. We rebuilt that bridge. We paved new roads. We did it better. Every voice within our community along the way. From Rochester and Buffalo, make some noise. Yeah. The folks across Long Island, make some noise. Folks in the Hudson Valley, make some noise. We did that. We built a statewide coalition and we created change. We advanced true equity and we switched up the conversation and began a new era in state politics, and we did it together, family. Yeah.
What is on the table is not enough. We showed up today, advocates, organizers who brought the bill to Albany, who rallied across the state, who built a statewide coalition, who rose up 6 months before an anti-trans bill was introduced in the New York State Legislature to demand that New York became a safe haven for trans youth and our families. We coddled our lawmakers. We held their hands. And today, during the bill signing, we were shut out. We were pushed to the side. We were meant to stand behind. Shame! 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 This is our win, community. Woo! Power! And each and every single win that we have accomplished over the last 2 years in such a short amount of time demonstrates that we are not playing around. We are not playing around. And I'm grateful to this team. I'm grateful because I know that I'm a lot. I have a reputation, and let me tell you, it's true. I'm difficult to work with. I want our rights now. Like Marsha P. Johnson said, I want our gay liberation now. Gay liberation has to be inclusive. If it's not trans liberation, it's not happening. Thank you for your mentorship. Brighton Harters, our upstate community organizer. Thank you for holding it down upstate and making sure your voices are heard. Thank you to Jewel Baskerville, who holds it down, provides hands-on technical support to make our actions possible. Thank you to our board members. Thank you to our partners, the Center, Housing Works, Make the Road New York, and New York Transgender Advocacy Group. Together we are holding the line. We are holding their feet to the fire, and yes, we are holding them accountable. So, in closing, I want us to remember our roots. I want us to remember why we are gathered here today. It isn't to take a photo and post it on Instagram. It's to get out into these streets, to make our voices heard, to uplift the voices and the stories of our booed Sylvia Rivera off stage in the early days of the movement. When we began the movement, homeless, young, queer, black, trans, young people. Said enough is enough. The white gays booed her off stage. She did so much and went unrecognized until the near end, and then was betrayed on her deathbed by the exclusion of trans people she had advocated to be included in SONDA. That's a shame. It takes great courage to love the life she and Marsha lived, to do what they did so selflessly, to create change without anyone really noticing or appreciating. I know a little something about that, and I know you do too. I look up to them for speaking truth to power and for getting booed while doing it. That's my energy, and I'm going to keep that same energy because it's time we return to our roots. It's time we turn complacency into equity. It's time we get our rights because we want our rights now. Yeah! And don't say it's my last day at NCA. I am in no means stepping away. In fact, I'm about to step into these streets, y'all. Solidarity into action. For visibility that transcends into lived equity. For visibility that brings us
visible for years now, someone who we can turn to for support, someone who has been an out and loud and proud representative of the non-binary communities on television. Someone who you might have seen a couple of days ago on And Just Like That.
Oh.
With Miranda. That's right. You know who it is. It's everybody's favorite spoiler. It's Jay Diaz themselves. Sarah, love you! We love you, Sarah! Break it up.
Hi.
We love you, Sarah!
Older queer. I actually get really uncomfortable speaking in front of people, so I brought my puppy Mio up here. I really love being here with real life queer, trans, and non-binary people. Real life LGBTQIA+ people. You help me want to stay alive. Thank you.
Yeah, baby! You got this!
The fear of making others uncomfortable, of violence, or being discarded, ridiculed, keeps many of us hidden. My early 80s immigrant and privileged experience in the U.S. taught me to prioritize fitting in over self-discovery and honoring my authentic self. But stuffing my true self down started in Mexico when I was around 4 years old, before I was sent to the U.S., when my ongoing desire for a short haircut resulted in a household filled with tension and a school community that filled me with shame and guilt over wanting something so seemingly simple. Me looking like a quote-unquote boy was some sort of horror or joke to people. And my internalization of these reactions would have varying ramifications from that point on. It would be another almost 20
out using our social media and our website on issues that are affecting the most marginalized among the most marginalized of our communities. Everyone, please welcome Jennifer Love Williams.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Happy Pride, happy visibility. My name is Jennifer Love Williams, and I am a formerly incarcerated Black trans woman. And understand, there are many people that's just like me, queer and trans, who are incarcerated, which in another word is modern day slavery, who are incarcerated, who do not have the opportunity to stand and be visible and fight for themselves in a system that lets them feel dehumanized. So I need you guys, and myself to always be visible. So make sure that you are seen. Because when you are seen and you are visible, you live a good fight. You fight for yourself, for me, for the other Black trans women, as well as for every trans incarcerated person out here. And that doesn't only go Also remember that we have queer and trans siblings who are incarcerated because of their citizenships. So we have to be mindful of them too. Our fight is not just for self, it's for each other. And every marginalized group has to protect each other. Because when you don't protect each other, these assholes dissect us and destroy us. So together, we are more powerful than you will ever know. With that being said, let's have a good ass marching rally.
For, gosh, 6-7 years now. I think I met them right after Trump got elected. Right? Remember that? But she's here to talk about someone who might even be a worse threat to our community than Donald Trump ever was. And that one is that guy from Florida. That other guy from Florida. Okay? All right, so everyone please welcome my good friend, Mary Ellen Novak!
Hello, my queer, beautiful, fabulous friends! Okay, that's probably all the cheering you're going to do to talk about Ron DeSantis, and I want you all to vote.
Yeah.
Jay and I are here to talk about Ron DeSantis and his irrational Florida plan. A plan that has an extremist agenda and full of dogmatic laws. We know he's a coward. Now I have to read my notes because there's so many things. Right?
you'll have all the links that you can plug in to coming up and rolling out the welcome mat in summer. All right, so next up, I'd like to invite, first of all though, I want to thank all the Orishas, all the deities, all the forces for putting a lot of that, it's going to storm at 2 o'clock stuff we were hearing about all week. We all know how we go, right? It don't rain on pride. Beautiful person, a wonderful performer. They have a short one-person piece that they are going to perform for you. We're going to have to figure out how to do it because we don't have the microphone. So we're guilty. Yeah, okay, no. So, all right, we're going to change that up. We're dealing with tech. Tech sucks. It really, really sucks. So who I'm going to invite up now is someone who is an inspiration, someone who has been one of the most extraordinary leaders in our LGBTQIA2S+ communities for years now. Someone who we can look to for wisdom and fierceness, no matter what obstacles we are coming up against. From NYC! Can I hear a NYC? NYC! Kiara St. John! When sex workers are under attack, what do? Stand up, fight back! When black trans women are under attack, what do? Stand up, fight back! When the queer community is under attack, what do? Stand up, fight back! Ashe, Ashe. Thank you so much, everyone. My name is Kiara St. James, founder and executive director of New York Transgender Advocacy Group. So I'm here to say that it's not just about disability, as Sharon Avery so eloquently said. It's about equity. It's about making sure that the trans community is invested in. And I really want to make sure I'm acknowledging some legends that they don't know they're legends right now. One of them is Lisa Crespo. So, let me just say something. I'm one of the more seasoned trans women out here. And I will tell you that for years, I was the only one going up to Albany, going to City Hall. And so I am so inspired about the fact that we have so many new, young, and vigorous young trans leaders today. So I want to give that to Elisa and Sharon Avery. So with their help, we have been able to make sure that we are investing in the trans community by creating the Lorena Borjas Wellness and Equity. Give it up for that. For many years, as a trans woman, I have been told and dictated to when I work for other organizations what to talk about. Why this is so important for us to have equity for the trans community is because for the first time this year, the trans organizations across New York State will be able to strategize on issues that are important to us and not being dictated to by queer organizations. Let's get over that. Also, I want to say, today is a blessed day for all of us to be on here, but I want to acknowledge that in 2020 and 2021, 9 black trans women were murdered in New York City. That is right. Shame. Shame.
Shame! Shame! And there was silence from a lot of these white queer organizations. Not one of them issued a statement when 9 black trans women were murdered within the 5 boroughs. Not in Long Island, not in Westchester, but in New York City this happened. This is why we must continue to support and invest in black trans communities across New York City. So, I also want to say that it's important for us to understand we live in an intersectional world. We understand this. The opposition doesn't want to recognize that. They have a fear of the progress that we have been making for years in this city, in this state, and in this nation. And this is why there's such a pushback to take us back to those olden days where if you were queer, you were not able to have a voice. If you were black and trans, you definitely weren't able to have a voice. And we're not going to go back to those dark days, are we? No! So one of the things I'm going to be asking of everyone, on September 30th, we will be having a love rally in Times Square. And it's to address the intersectionality that we all live and exist in who are assembled here today. It's to address anti-trans legislation, reproductive justice, is to make sure that our undocumented teachers folks are protected, is to make sure that our queer community, not just in New York City and New York State, but across the country, are protected. We need to make sure that we are giving out, sending out a call to action. One of the ways we dismantle systems is to make sure that we tell everyone to register to vote and vote. Red states are red states because black and brown folks chose not to vote. So I'm going to ask everyone that have black and brown family members and friends to stress to them in these other states. We need for them to vote. Ashe? Ashe! I like to close with the affirmation. And if you can repeat after me. Another thing I want to say is, well, the affirmation. I'm going to ask that black trans women support other black trans women. I say we cannot just come out and yell at white queer people to support black trans women when we don't support black trans women. So we need to make sure that you are a black trans woman in a leadership role, support your black trans sisters who are supporting you. I say. So if you can repeat after me. We will not retreat back into the dark ages.
We will not retreat back into the dark ages
of ignorance and systemic violence.
Of ignorance and systemic violence.
We have a duty to fight.
We have a duty to fight.
We have a duty to win.
We have a duty to win.
We have a duty to be heard.
We have a duty to be heard.
We have the right to bask in the sunshine.
We have the right to bask in the sunshine.
Of equality.
Of equality.
To live our lives unapologetically.
To live our lives unapologetically.
And without fear of recrimination.
And without fear of recrimination.
We will not retreat.
We will not retreat.
We will not surrender.
We will not surrender.
We are here to stay.
We are here to be a lesson.
On what it means to be inclusive.
On what it means to be inclusive.
To be brave. And to love ourselves.
And to love ourselves.
And those who are different.
And those who are different.
For as it is written.
For as it is written.
The greatest of all things is love.
The greatest of all things is love.
Thank you, BRFHA! Okay, wonderful. All right, so next up, we have, well, first I'm going to tell you, if you have not been doing Drag Story Hour NYC event, to stand outside and protect them from idiotic bigots who want to tell lies about all of our LGBTQIA2S+ communities, who have fallen sway to a bunch of demagogues trying to get votes
trying to get money, you owe it to yourself to show up to a drag story hour defense. And I'd like to introduce Luna Paradise, who is one of the drag story hour performers, along with Rebel, who will join, who is one of the defenders. So come on, Luna.
Hello, Queer Liberation NYC! My name is Luna Paradise, and I am here to recruit you to the trans fag dyke agenda! I have also brought my emotional support pump! As well as to speak to y'all about an organization that I have been humbled to be a part of for the last 7 years. Drag Story Hour NYC. We are a non-profit organization that strives to bring inclusivity within and around drag culture. Our storytellers range from drag kings, drag queens, drag things, and many others in between. All of our voices are vibrant. All of our voices are uplifting. And so naturally, or rather unnaturally, we have been targeted by a small group of right, bigoted fascists as of late. But I am not here to speak on their hatred today. As a youth-centered, joy-building organization that promotes gender diversity and self-acceptance, we strive to continue to center youth in the work that we do. But we could not do this work without each and every one of you. You, all of you have made this work possible for us to offer to the youth to explore themselves in the world from a place of celebration and radical queer love. This Pride Month is, as always, a celebration. But it also comes at a time when our rights are being trampled upon, when our voices are being maligned and misrepresented. Let us lift up the names of those who have organized on behalf of the queer community, on behalf of the transgender, non-conforming, non-binary communities, and of course communities of color. Marsha P. Johnson. Sylvia Rivera. Countless AIDS activists. Whose names we don't even have. We uplift these names. These strong Black, Indigenous people of color, they led the way. And we walk in memory of, we walk in lockstep with. We continue to forge ahead on the path that they have laid out before us. We are here, we are queer, and we are unstoppable. I will end this speech with a quote from the infamous, beloved Marsha P. Johnson. History is not something that you look back at and say it was inevitable. It happens because people make choices. They make decisions that are sometimes very impulsive and of the moment, however you can. But these moments are cumulative realities. Please, please, however you can, continue to show up for yourselves and continue to show up for your communities. Have a safe and fabulous Pride, y'all.
Shuffle around a little bit. Yeah, really. Okay, cool.
how you were treated versus how if you were holding a big metal Trump flag that's actually technically illegal. The biggest horror that we have been dealing with when it comes to the NYPD and our resistance and protest community, as everyone knows, I'm going to let y'all shout out those three initials, okay? Say it after me. No, say it before me. What are they called? What is the Goon Squad called? 1, 2, 3.
SRG!
1, 2, 3.
SRG!
And now I would like to invite an amazing organizer who I've been privileged to work with on the campaign, who dismantled and dismantled the SRG, one that has been extraordinarily successful in getting members of our city council and local government to sign on to the pledge to get rid of it. From the NYCLU, Isabel Lever!
We keep us safe! We keep us safe! We keep us safe!
Happy Pride! We are here because Pride is more than just a celebration. It always has and always will be about protest. In this city, the right to protest is under attack by the same police force that brutalized the patrons of Stonewall more than 50 years ago. The NYPD's legacy of brutalizing LGBTQ+ protesters did not end in 1969. It continues to be carried out by the NYPD's Strategic Response Group, a militarized unit of the NYPD known for its racism, its misconduct, and its abuse of protesters. This unit costs New Yorkers $133 million a year. The SRG has led multiple crackdowns on the Queer Liberation March. In 2021, they descended on Washington Square Park where they pepper sprayed and arrested patrons. This year, on the eve of Pride Month, they harassed people at a Black Trans Liberation March where they arrested beloved Queen Jean, a leader in our community. Her crime? Using a megaphone.
Shame!
The NYCLU has been documenting police conduct at protests for more than 3 years. We have seen the worst of the NYPD's violence, and it is almost always carried out by the SRG. Over the last 2 months, we have seen the NYPD crack down on protests in ways that we have not seen since early 2020. As we stand here today, we need to be clear when we say New Yorkers have the right to take to the streets without the threat of state-sanctioned violence. On LGBTQ+ protesters to decades of violent and discriminatory policing, the NYPD must come to terms with its legacy. That legacy means that for many, police presence is a source of trauma and fear, not safety or pride. No amount of rainbow cars will make us believe that the NYPD cares about queer people. You have city leaders. Pride is still protest, and you have an opportunity and an obligation to protect our First Amendment rights by disbanding the NYPD's Strategic Response Group and reinvesting $133 million of funds into our community. Rainbow flag and pride posts on Instagram mean nothing when you fund a unit that brutalizes our most marginalized. This city belongs to the people, not the NYPD. Disband the SRG and fund our community. Happy Pride!
Everybody wants to get a mic. All right, so next I'd like to invite someone. Obviously, our sound system got screwed up. We had a few musical acts for you. Fortunately, these are committed members of our community, so they are able to speak as well as sing. And I'm going to invite up Chris Conde next, who has a bit of spoken word to share with you.
Yes!
Can y'all hear me?
Yes!
We I usually do rap, but I'm gonna just do a poem. Is that cool with y'all? Yeah! I don't really rap about it, felt no need to explain it. Cause being gay was just a facet of what I was relating. Getting sober was more the boulders on my shoulders and waiting on my lyrical writing processes back when I first came in. To the scene, I mean, I think I'm always keeping it honest as much as anyone can, especially with all this vomit and hate. Invading that's raped, sprayed and painted upon us. I waited a lot of years to explain my story, so I'ma relate a little of growing up gay and little and finding out you don't like the same shit as they do in middle school. A kid confused about liking dudes, hoping it's not true. What will I do if I'm accused, Joe? Maybe it's all cool. Will and Grace is on TV, so maybe it's all good, but why do I feel like God hates me if it is all good? It's fucking weird. I think I'm queer, so maybe beer is the answer, and the more that I drink, the more I think I'm less of a cancer. What kind of 12-year-old thinks that? I think back and I'm grateful I didn't lean back on that railing in Turkey and succumb to the lurking thoughts of suicide and self-hurting. I'm glad I'm not burdened by my internalized homophobic unworthiness. Lift my skinny fist to the heavens like I don't deserve this shit. Like, God, I don't deserve this shit. I'd rather drown, be buried alive, and never heard from again. Yo, it took a long time for us to get here, so you will recognize all that we have been through. It took a long time for us to get here, so you will recognize all that we have been through. A couple years later, I'm trying to find a savior, someone to rescue me from all of my depression, despair, and anxiety. So one night, I find myself inviting a higher being into my life for the first time, and I'm like, finally, I feel peace for the first time. I don't think for the first time in a long time about being deceased in the worst kinds of ways. But in the back of my mind, I know I've decided to deny my inner self that I'm gay. But if I pray real hard, they say these feelings will fade. That my attraction to men will all be taken away. But I never noticed the change and I spent those next years a slave to a dogma that caused a lot of empty bottles and veins filled with painkillers. Insane feelings of shame. I hate feeling like I just plain hate feeling. So I drank, snorted, shot, smoked, stared at the ceiling, slowly falling into a void of oblivion. But with a little bit of back and forth and a couple little slips, I decided it was time for a life I could live. It was time for a switch. With the flick of a switch, caught a glimpse of a kid. Underneath all this shit, I believe I'm a gift. I believe I can live. Yeah, I'm waving a flag with a rainbow in it, and I'm taking no shit. Yeah, I'm taking no shit. Yes! Orlando 2016 Pulse nightclub shooting. This poem is for that. For every queer kid out there who was ever made to feel bad or ashamed of things you can't change. Yes, with you I stand. We are equal to humanity. We are never less than. Thank you, Chris! Yes! And now I'd like to bring up another performer who got screwed by the sound system, but who's also ready. Ready, because they can say something. So everyone, please give a big welcome to Jace Vegas! Yes! Woo! Yeah. Ready to be alive? Make some noise! Look to the person to your right. Say, I'm happy you're alive. I'm happy you're alive. Look to the person to your left. Say, I'm happy you're alive. Now close your eyes, take a deep breath, and say, I'm happy I'm alive. I'm happy I'm alive. That's right, James. Don't more scared of themselves than they are of us. And they don't know what to do but to try to bully us. So we are bigger than that because what? We are queer.
Yes!
We are so unique, it bothers people. But most importantly, we are so unique, we inspire people. Look around.
Yes!
Make some noise. Thank you so much. My name is Chase Vegas.
Yes!
And if nobody said it to you yet, I love you. And I'm from New York City, so this is a real big deal, y'all. Shout out to my kids. One more time, make some noise for Be Yourself.
Yes!
Thank you, James Vegas! Happy All right. First off, all right, there's one performer that was there. Is there anybody who happens to have a PA system that they brought for their own purposes? Not a bullhorn, but something with a mic and a speaker. If anyone has something, that would be great. If not, we are gonna continue on. Okay. All right.
I'm Sylvia's daughter and
Okay. I'm not coming for you. I'm just saying that we're in the middle of something.
Would you guys press the button?
Okay.
Would you guys press the button?
All right. Sorry about that, everyone. I'd like to call up someone who has been an amazing supporter of so many Sorry about that. I just remembered that our next guest goes everywhere with their own bullhorn, so I can just put this the way I like it. Honestly, this next speaker really doesn't need any introduction. We have seen her rise to a position of such great respect across all of our LGBTQIA2S plus communities in this city. She's an inspiration. She is a guiding light in the movement of people out in these streets to stand up for our rights and for our rights to speak and for our rights of association. I could go on and on, but I'm not. Everyone, please welcome Queen G! show up in our full armor. The world, they will never understand it. Our parents, they might not
of this shit that we've seen all month long. I promise you, by next Tuesday, it will all be gone. We won't be seeing any more rainbow. Fuck solidarity. You're now a faggot again. I've been a motherfucking faggot, bitch. They will always be intimidated by our strength. They will always be intimidated by our femininity, our queerness, our softness. Because, honey, they want so hard to be like us. Hello, somebody. Message. They are so threatened by us. This city is threatened by us. The government officials, the ones that are, claim to show up. We've been out here for years. This community, we've been fighting for black liberation. Our ancestors have been fighting for black liberation for literally half a century. But folks will come out today on Pride. Yeah, we're here with our neighbors, we're here with kids, but they will not support these kids the next day. They will not actually invest in them the next day. They are literally working to take away our libraries, our public libraries, our SNAP benefits, any type of housing resource. They will take it all away to support the NYPD. What shame! What shame! What shame! The police are terrorists! The police are! 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 Eric Adams, you are the number one on the list. I almost said everything today. I'm not holding my tongue for nobody. The people of New York City, we deserve a real leader. We need a new mayor. We need. Honey, I don't know what this church is giving today. I'm going to have to come up in here. New York City, our trans and queer siblings, they deserve protection. They deserve protection 365 days out of the week. Out of the year, excuse me. All right? We need support year round. Eric Adams, you are not an ally. You are a co-conspirator of white supremacy. We reject anyone that will truly usurp our community. They will come around and whenever it's time for a photo op, everyone loves a photo, but not one of this motherfucker. You have taken away our resources. You have beaten our community. You literally allowed, let me share this. Some of you may not know, Jordan Neely was on the train asking for food and water. The entire train car ignored him. They ignored him asking for food. What shame? What shame? This war veteran, whatever his name was, Daniel Penny. Daniel Penny, petty motherfucker. He murdered this young individual. And the police let him go. There was no questioning. We're not taking you to custody. Baby, they treated me like I was a murderer. They almost broke my fucking wrist. I have a hairline fracture because of the NYPD, but they cannot stop me. They cannot stop this community. They will never! In this time, we all have a second homework assignment. We all have to be in touch with what's happening with this New York City budget. This budget, y'all think, well, it's just for the other folks. It's just for the, those that are unemployed, those that are low income. Baby, we're all low income as far as I'm considered. Does anybody have all this money? Raise your hand. Okay, because bitch, I need that credit card. As a community, we have been left in the deficit because of the corruption of the NYPD, the corruption of Eric Adams. We will not remain quiet. He must step down.
no permit.
You can suck my sucking clit, okay?
You can suck.
Eric Adams is a prick!
Eric Adams is a prick.
We don't need no permit!
We don't need no permit.
You can fucking suck my clit!
You can fucking suck my clit.
Okay, that's it. You go suck it out. They might enjoy it. Hi, honey, okay, y'all, this is my mom back here. Y'all, please show some love. Black trans.
Matter.
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 We are all standing here because of black trans women. Let's be very fucking clear. Let's not get it confused, twisted, amalgamated, none of that. Black trans women are the most disrespected people in this country. Black women are the most disrespected people in this country. Black women are also the most powerful women in this country. It is because of our innate power, it is because of our joy. The oppressor, they are so threatened by us. Eric Adams, you will never be an ally because you are struggling every day with the demons inside of you.
Fuck Eric Adams.
We need a new mayor. But most importantly, as a community, we need to make sure we are on that second homework assignment. We got to register to vote. We have to follow up with what's happening with these bills. We got to make sure we're following up with this budget because that budget does affect each and every single one of us. They will literally defund the entire city to overfeed NYPD. We don't need cops. We need community care. We don't need cops. We need community care. We don't need
Community care. Get the pigs out the subway.
all right? We don't need them, honey, at our schools. We don't need them at the medical office. They are everywhere. Every other block, 2 cops are standing. Doing what?
Nothing.
They are literally getting. Y'all, please hear me out. $29 million a day. $29 million a day. And this is just to prove a point. How many of us truly have even, who currently may not have a house, who currently may be navigating a shelter? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Literally, so many of us don't even have a place to sleep tonight. And we may not have a place to sleep next week. But the NYPD is spending $29 million a day to terrorize us, to brutalize us, to literally put their foot on our neck. What shame. We as a community today, when we step out, when we take up to the streets, we'll fill up the entire street. Whose streets? Whose streets? Whose streets? This is Revolution Sunday. This is Revolution Sunday. We will send a message today to everyone all over this entire country. They have over 550 anti-trans legislation. We've heard it. But let me tell you what that means. 80 of those bills have already been passed. That means they're not just targeting our trans youth. Let's be very clear. When they take away hormones, they take it away from everybody. From everybody! We won't even be able to complete our full journeys. A lot of us won't be able to start our journeys. What shame. And they are doing this to control us. That is how the oppressor tries to win. That's how they win, because they try to control. So they keep us hungry. They keep us uneducated. They keep us literally sleeping outside on
angels. I see diamonds. I literally see the star that shines inside of you. We're going to show that power today. I love you. Love you.
We have one more club of the speakers because labor rights are queer rights. Line up, brave, let's voice. Thank you so much. Hey everybody. So I was supposed to speak today with an Amazon labor union member who had to leave to go make Jeff Bezos some more fucking money. Can I get a boo of Jeff Bezos, please? So I'm going to do my best. My name's Enid, I'm a trans woman, I'm a union organizer, and I'm a revolutionary fucking socialist. And I'm tired of being afraid. I'm tired of having to check the news every day to see what states I'm still allowed to live in. I'm tired of my partner having to keep a list of what states we can safely travel through. I'm tired of being scared what the government and the far right can do to me and my family. But today I don't feel afraid. Look around you, y'all. We're here. We're queer and we're not being fucking eliminated today. And I also see all the union workers and unions who stood with us today. If you're in a union, raise your hand. Labor rights are queer rights, and we as workers have so much power. We can shut their shit down. We can hit them where it hurts with their money, and we can do it for trans rights. So we have to follow in the example of the Starbucks workers who are shutting stores down around the country to protest the hypocrisy of claiming rainbow capitalism. And we have to follow the example of the New York City trans youth who walked out of their schools to say that we will not die in secret anymore. But we have to do more than that. This can't just be one day and one march. We have to go further and unite our struggles. The struggle for abortion rights, the struggle for black lives, the struggle for bodily autonomy, for unions. All of these are the same fight, and we have to fight them together. And to do that, we need to trust ourselves and organize together. We need an organization of us. We need a party of us. And when I say party, I don't mean like the one we're all going to after this march. And I don't mean like the Democrats and Republicans, which are chock full of imperialists, capitalists, bigots, all the worst people. It's one of us. A party of the working class and the oppressed that unites our struggles in our schools, in our workplaces, that fights beyond elections. And it doesn't just fight to stop this or that attack, but fight more further. To make a world where we're not afraid. Because we deserve to not be afraid. We deserve to live our lives and develop our bodies. We deserve to be queer. We deserve to not have our rights on the line every fucking election. We deserve so much better than this capitalist system will ever give us. So this pride, let's fight together. Let's organize together in our schools, in our workplaces, on the streets, and form a working class party that fights for socialism. Thank you. I'm with Left Voice. Come say hi. Thank you. Are y'all ready to march? And now, as we have done traditionally whenever we march from Foley Square, at this monument dedicated to the ancestors, to the African ancestors, to the many African furries, and those unmarked graves, I have to walk away. I would like to invite Bryce here to sing the Negro National Anthem. Lift every voice and sing as we step out onto the march route. Bryce. Hey, y'all. I was going to let my queer ancestors speak for me, but the PA wasn't working, so we're just going to get out there and march. Y'all look beautiful. This
The camera is on, and you see. Okay, well, I was gonna.
Oh, you're good.
There, you're good. You're good. You're good.
I read you the entire book. It had one sentence. Families can also be two parents that are mothers and two parents that are fathers. They were told, the parents at that school, that if it was very difficult for their children to be in that room, that they didn't have to be in the room. They announced the assembly, told all the parents, if this is a problem for you, we get it. You know, I've been confronting this issue my entire life. I have been threatened. I have been harassed. I've been denied jobs because of who I am and who I love. You don't have to love me. You don't have to like me. You can think I'm the devil incarnate. But you better treat me like a decent human being, because that's how I treat you, even though you don't believe that I have the right to exist. I am very tired of having young people and adults in the LGBT community hear 3 days of yelling and screaming about this. What do you think that did to them? What do you think that did to every gay teacher, every gay custodian, every gay worker in this city, every gay kid? What do you think that did to them? It made them afraid. It made them afraid. How dare you make them afraid because you are?
In March, I got a text message from my son. It says, "Mommy, I'm scared of the trans genocide. Are they going to put me in a camp?" This is not the path that Ohio can take, a path of fear, a path of denying freedom. Ohio is better than this. When I was writing my testimony, one of the things I went through, our discernment points, our doctor's visits, our therapy visits, I started to do a PowerPoint timeline of all the things that we went through, my risk assessment, my deliberations. I started to think about it. And then I realized it's none of your business. The medical care that I give to my son, with a bucket of respect dumped on all of you. What I do with my child is none of your business. And I really believe that all of you, you're going to hear stories today. I met a beautiful young person, Natalie, here today. You're going to hear stories today that these Ohioans are just going to dump their lives on you and beg for your permission not to drop the anvil of government on them. And that's not how it should be. It's none of your business what they do. You should feel embarrassed that they come before you and have to tell you their stories. Respectfully, sorry.
People wanna know who we are, so we tell them. We are the people. We are the community. Fighting for justice. Fighting for justice. And for liberation. And for liberation.
No, I never know because like that kind of looks like lives matter to me, but then it has the darker skin on there, so I don't know.
No, some teams in all the different functionality were actually revived on Pride. So I can recognize
Oh my God. Do you see the bus? They have a couch on it. I'm here for this. Really? I love it. They just came out of the street. It was like. What? Oh, okay, thanks. I think they just got trapped in the.
Cuba just recently passed one of the most progressive laws defending LGBT rights to marry. In Cuba now, it is legal for two trans persons to get together, bisexual couples to get together, have surrogacy arrangements as long as no money is involved. Essentially, for any kid in Cuba to have 4 parents. That is perfectly legal now in Cuba. It's just an example of what LGBT, trans, and allies can fight for worldwide. As part of this march here, I personally am requesting that Biden remove Cuba from that terrorism list and end the embargo against Cuba. Right now, as we speak, there are rallies going on worldwide, in fact, in various cities, including at least several hundred to a couple thousand in D.C., making the same demand. End the U.S. embargo against Cuba, take Cuba off the terrorism list, and I thank you, sister, for making time. Have a good day. Thank you. Yeah, it's a male that's fine. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, I will.
Lesbians and gay men waiting to hear your voice. We are coming out of the closet. When are you going to come out of yours?
Thank you.
Why are you here today?
Darling, I want my gay rights now. I think it's about time the gay brothers and sisters got their rights. And especially the women.
All right.
Yes! Happy Pride!
The speaker asks me to apologize. What he is, on behalf of decorum, what he is really asking me to do is be silent when my community is facing bills that get us killed. He is asking me to be complicit in this legislature's eradication of our community, and I refuse to do so, and I will always refuse to do so. I would also say that if you use decorum to silence people who hold you accountable, then in the name of all you are doing is using decorum as a tool of oppression.
Only 1.6% of American adults are now transgender or non-binary. 1.6%. Then why do you choose that group to attack? And I go back to what LBJ said a long time ago. He said, if you can convince the lowest white man he's better than the best colored man, he won't notice you're picking his pocket. Hell, give him somebody to look down on and he'll empty his pockets for you.
So I'm sure that you've all been following the news out of Montana, and Representative Zoe Zephyr, full disclosure, my partner by the way, getting kicked out of the legislature for doing nothing but standing up for her constituents. They silenced her. They banished her to this desk right outside. Well, today, she showed back up to Missoula, and there waiting for her were hundreds of people from all over Montana and from her constituency herself, all of them descending onto Missoula ready to greet her. And just watch this video. When people ask me what gives me hope, that's what gives me hope. We're building a movement. They thought that they could step on and silence the transgender representative in Montana, and all they've done is made her a superstar. Things are changing. There are people that love you everywhere.
So yeah, as long as we're having a nice political chat, I thought I would add another subject that bugs me a little bit, actually a lot. And that's this false, disingenuous both-sidesism claim that the extreme Democrats are just as bad as the extreme Republicans. The D's are just as bad as the R's. You just switch the letters. It's all the same thing. I have two words for you guys. Bullshit. Because here's the deal. As a gay man, I am a member of a group that is the target of Republicans and Republican policies and proposals and pitches that threaten my liberty and in some cases threaten my life. Because I am a gay man, I walk this earth at DEFCON 3. I'm never totally relaxed. Unless I'm in Provincetown or Fire Island, I would never walk the streets holding hand with my partner if I had one. I never feel safe enough. Every room I walk into, I am scanning the room in a split second, assessing who wants to murder me. That's how I think about this. And I'm white and I'm a male, which means I don't have it nearly half as bad as women or black trans women who have it double, triple, quadruple as bad. I'm at DEFCON 3, they're at DEFCON 1. So you guys who like to say, oh, well, the Democrats are just as bad as the Republicans, last time I checked, Democrats don't want me dead, or at least to not exist. So spare me the both sidesism shit and shut the fuck up, because you literally do not know what you're talking about. Have a great weekend.
I was born of heterosexual parents. I was taught by heterosexual teachers in a fiercely heterosexual society with television ads and newspaper ads, fiercely heterosexual, a society that puts down homosexuality. And why am I homosexual if I'm affected by role models? I should have been a heterosexual, and no offense meant. But if teachers are going to affect you as role models, there'd be a lot of nuns running around the streets today.
Uganda just passed the strictest anti-LGBTQ law in the world, but Americans are to blame. Here's why. On Monday, the president of Uganda, a country where same-sex relations were already illegal, signed a bill into law that includes the death penalty for, quote, aggravated homosexuality and prison time for promoting and abetting homosexuality. But this is a direct result of decades-long anti-LGBTQ activism by white evangelical groups to create a moral panic. Between 2007 and 2020, over $54 million has been spent on anti-LGBTQ propaganda by white extremist groups in Africa. Nearly half of that budget targeted Uganda directly, according to LGBTQ Nation. These kind of international attacks on LGBTQ plus people can't be overlooked. Jeff Charlotte wrote on Twitter, evangelicals have long looked at Uganda as a kind of Christian nationalist policy laboratory, and many of these policies have come home to the US. We export hate, and then we harvest it. This is especially terrifying when you take note that most of these same evangelical groups will likely be supporting and endorsing Ron DeSantis' presidential run.
We need to talk about a really important Supreme Court case that could literally be like hanging a straights only sign in a store window. Any day now, the U.S. Supreme Court will rule on a case that will basically allow businesses to legally discriminate against LGBTQ customers. By the way, I'm Trav. I report on the queer economy, and the case, which is called 303 Creative versus Elena's, could have a devastating impact not only on queer communities, but all types of marginalized groups. The case is brought by an evangelical Christian website designer in Colorado and is backed by the ADF. They're the same right-wing group that was behind the overturning of Roe v. Wade, the monstrous anti-gay laws in Uganda, a Tennessee case that would allow adoption agencies to reject Jewish parents, and more. They've been designated a hate group by the Southern Poverty Law Center. If you're asking, but haven't we already been here? The answer is yes and no. You probably remember Supreme Court cases in the past where a baker or a florist refused services for same-sex marriages. Those cases were also backed by the ADF. But this current case is different for two main reasons. The first is that in this case, the plaintiff is the bigot, not the people being discriminated against. This is called preemptive litigation, and it's like a legal Jedi mind trick that makes the person doing the discriminating come off as the victim. The second reason this is different is because the court has a 6-3 conservative supermajority. When this hyper-conservative court heard the oral arguments for the case last fall, they seemed to be very sympathetic to the plaintiff's argument. And many legal experts and analysts agree that the court will most likely rule in favor of the plaintiff. This ruling could make it legal for businesses to deny services to LGBTQ customers, but it wouldn't stop there. Experts say that this could empower businesses to refuse services to Black, Jewish, Muslim, Latinx customers, or even people in interracial and interfaith relationships. I tell you about this case not to alarm you, but to prepare you. Just the other day, an amusement park in Missouri refused to admit a customer because their tote bag had a rainbow on it. I first reported on this case way back in March of 2022 when it was announced that the court was going to hear it. And while I still don't have the answers and I hope that I'm wrong about how this case will go, I am certain about these things. This shows why it's important now more than ever to support queer-owned businesses, why corporations need to stand firm in their allyship of our communities, and why everyone, regardless of whether they're queer or not, need to be concerned about this case. But I want to know what you think. Let me know in the comments and follow me for more.
What did we do? We went to our trusted pediatrician and said, look, we don't know what to do here. Can you help us? Because 4 or 5 years ago, none of this discussion was really going on. And he referred us to a gender clinic. And I remember the drive. It was a 2-hour drive to that first appointment. And we had absolutely no idea what to expect when we walked into that doctor's office. They talked about what the journey looked like. And it was a very methodical process. No one gave my kid a prescription on the first day. And so if you vote for this, you're voting for people like me to no longer be able to help my kid and go to people I trust as medical professionals. People that, with the exception of this type of medical care, are pointed to as, no matter what's going on, you should believe in doctors unless it has to do with trans rights, because then they're wrong. How are they right about everything else? About diabetes, about cancer, about a broken arm, about strep throat, about the flu, but wrong about this?
Drag queens telling stories to children. It's a new phenomenon, isn't it?
Apparently so.
But what if I told you that in truth, drag performers have performed to children for centuries?
I knew you'd pull something like this out of your back pocket.
It all starts in the 1850s. Drag starts to dominate the entertainment scene in Victorian England. And Bessie Bonehill was one of the OG drag king performers in town. She performed what was at the time called music hall, an artistic movement that involved comedy, singing, and male and female impersonators. Bessie actually became one of the most influential drag kings of her day. She was widely loved and even performed pantomime to children. Her performances consisted of jokes and fairy tale stories.
Sounds fantastic.
But drag performance was massively shaped by music hall. But where did music hall come from? In Victorian England, you couldn't drink alcohol in theatres, and so the working class British found a convenient way of getting around this. They turned pubs and breweries in East London into theatres, and singers would perform, telling stories through song, usually songs that would reflect on working class culture, but also subverting gender norms by dressing in drag. It came from a working class thirst for culture. Let me tell you about someone else. Vesta Tilley. Vesta came from humble beginnings. Her father was a factory worker, and Tilley saw Tilley's performances at the age of 6. She did her first performance in male clothes. Believing in his daughter's talent so much, his father became her manager. Vesta shot to fame and became the best known male impersonator of her era.
By the help from her father.
Yeah. By the 1890s, Tilley was England's highest earning woman.
You would see Marsha in Harlem. You would see her in Newark. You would see her everywhere in her truth, in a time where truth was done in the dark. Marsha never gave an excuse or a reason of anything. She just lived it. And that is revolutionary. We're not anyone's tragic story. Today we have trans women who are going to college, who have jobs, who are leaders. So wake up, America, baby. We are not your tragic story.
I give people grace because if life taught me something, it showed me that no one is just one thing. You saw me on Monday and I felt amazing. I woke up like I could move mountains. I felt my life was changing. I felt present, invested, fed, hydrated, well rested. I had a spring in my kick. You saw me Tuesday and we spoke loosely. I was preoccupied. Please excuse me. I had 101 things to do that day. We spoke Wednesday and I was sort of happy but also irritated. I was short and snappy. Thursday we cried together. Friday we shouted. Saturday we lost our way. Sunday we found it. The thing is, I was me every day that week. But as humans, our experience of life is fluid, meaning we can experience more than two things. It doesn't mean we are two-faced. It just means we are human. You know, you could be the same person just with versions. You are you when you are your best self, living your best life. You are also you when you are the worst one. I find humans humorous. We can recognize the good in people, but when it's not to our desire, we discard them like I ain't nothing like this. We are in a time of little long-term value and high inflation. This is a cost of love in crisis. So when I give my heart to you, it's to even past that have no desire to me. Because I don't just love you for the past that you are. I love you for you entirely. This is something I've had to embrace. We can all be amazing and make mistakes. So when I humble myself, put my ego and self-righteousness aside, I guess it's easier to give other people grace.
Life's not worth a damn till you can say